Podcast City Network.
Yeah.
And good evening, everyone. You're listening to another episode of the Deathmatch Russell podcast, 4th of July special edition, with my guest, Deathmatch wrestler, Deathmatch Indy pro wrestler, Jeff King. Let's see what he's up to and much, much more. Let's talk wrestling fans. Tune in right now. Jeff King, you're on the line.
So, I have finally made it in the world of deathmatch wrestling as I am here on the Deathmatch Russell podcast.
My God. My God. Like, that was perfect. That was just right off the tongue.
The thing is, I can't do a whole interview like that.
Yeah, I know.
So let me say, this is the second time I've ever done an interview outside of character.
Yes.
I've always done the voice. I started doing that Crusher voice back in like 2006 when I came up with the old timer Jeff King character.
Yeah.
And I just kept it, and I kind of thought it was always
right.
You know, I know wrestling's all exposed and everything, but I try to keep my character a little mystery to it. So I've never really done a lot of interviews or
I know you haven't.
or anything like that.
Yeah. So it's time to get you out there and let people hear you again. You know.
Yeah, and I figured you've been bugging me since I think I met you back in 2016.
Yes.
King of the Deathmatch.
Yes. I believe.
And you were like, I gotta have you on my show, and then a little while after that, I gotta have you on my show. To be honest,
but you know why? Because you got so busy having some children, and it just things got out of life is life outside of wrestling. Fans, see, there is life outside of wrestling besides.
And also, I don't like talking to people. I do the whole character in the ring, but in my normal life, I don't like to talk to people. Mm-hmm. I don't listen to a lot of podcasts. I don't.
No. Yeah.
It's just not something that I'm known to do. So, but you've consistently stayed on me, like, hey, I want to have you on my show. I want to have you. So finally, I was like, oh, fuck it, I'll do a show. He's been for 3 years and now bugging me to go on a show. So here it is.
Here it is. Ding, ding, ding. We have a winner, right? But yeah, man, it's 4th of July weekend already. Do you believe that? Like, it's here already.
Yeah.
It's like, wow. I'm getting excited because tomorrow's I told you about that big Game Changer Wrestling backyard event that's going down with Jackass Dale Patricks will be there.
And they're actually wrestling in the backyard?
I know, I was going to say, did you ever, backyard wrestling, no. I guess they're just trying it,
Back when I was in high school, backyard wrestling kind of went through that big boom period after fucking Mick Foley's videos played on Raw, the backyard wrestling. Then that was the day of like AOL chat rooms and Angel Fire web pages. There was a lot of like backyard wrestling was on the upper, and then the fucking best of backyard wrestling videos came out. It was like a huge deal back then.
Yeah.
It's kind of since died off.
It really has. It has. So, you know what? Game Changer was like, you know what? Flashback. Let's have some fun, Yeah,
I think that's kind of funny. I think that's an interesting idea to do something like
they're bringing out some names that never wrestled, like backyarders, like legends, I'd say almost like kids that made it, but they're local people too,
Wow.
It's amazing, Like little Jimmy fucking Lloyd, He's going to be on a show as some other character. I don't know backyard name, but it's gonna be cool.
Here's a bit of information that you don't know about me. Is I was actually on the Best of Backyard Wrestling Volume 4 VHS tape.
No.
Because I used to fuck around backyard, and like I said, this was back when I was probably 14 years old.
Right.
Late 90s. Mm-hmm. And somebody sent in our tapes or whatever. I had no idea I was even on the fucking video.
Wow.
It was years later. It was like 2 years later. A friend of a friend was like, "Hey, I seen,
footage.
Jeff King on this fucking backyard wrestling video." I was like, "No way." So I ended up going to the I had Suncoast Video at the mall, and I bought the VHS tape, and sure enough, I got like 17 clips on Best of Backyard Wrestling Volume 4. I was never paid anything. I was never told I was on it, but whatever.
Whatever, you got out there. Hey, you could say you were on VHS for the first time.
I guess so. Before I even broke into the pro wrestling business, I was on a commercially released wrestling video.
There you go.
Yay.
But yeah, man, that backyard wrestling. But when it first came out, and then the games came out, with the video games, that really took off with the ICP or and then Nick Mondo and Madman and Madman Pondo, of course, and just everybody else is like, this is really cool. Let's play it. Let's see what this is like. Just mess around on a video game system with your friends, or just do it by yourself. Try to create characters too. It's like, okay,
Yeah, I never played the video game. I know they had a video game. I never played the video game.
No, it was different. It was different. It was like, it was more than the pro wrestling. When Nintendo came out with the pro wrestling, the original.
Did you see the movie Backyard Dogs?
Backyard Dogs, no.
You got the Black Power Ranger, the Black Rangers in it. It's a whole movie about backyard wrestling. It's old.
Okay, I'll check that out.
Yeah, Backyard Dogs.
All right, I'll check that out later. Yeah, we'll look into that. I could probably find it on the web.
Very cheesy. It's awesome. You got to see it.
Yeah. I haven't. What's the recent documentary? Really, I saw was the Bruiser Brody one. Did you see that one?
On Vice?
Yes.
Yes, I thought it was really good.
That was really cool to see. Some stuff that happened, and we didn't realize, what would happen with him.
Well, you hear everybody's side of the story. I wasn't around. I don't know what happened, but you kind of just got to put the stories together.
And patch it. And
I don't think anybody really knows exactly what happened except for the guys that did it,
Right. But that is cool, though, that they did that, Mm-hmm. I'll tell you what, that Vice Network's pretty cool, man. They've had a lot of, documentaries lately, real, wrestling and, even deathmatch wrestling. That's pretty cool,
I've only been able to check out a few of them. I don't get a chance to watch a whole lot of They did wrestling at home. Not that I don't want to. I love wrestling. I'm a big fan. I just so busy with other things.
I know. You're so busy with your kids that are wrestlers too.
Yeah, I got kids. I got work. I got house. I got all this stuff that I'm working. So I don't have a ton of time to devote.
I know
to watching wrestling as a fan. I'm a huge fan. I love it.
I know. You have to be a fan. It's like growing up.
I can't follow it. I don't follow the current product as much as I should, being that I'm in the business. But I just don't have the time. I really don't.
Yeah, because you just want to have fun and do your wrestling. Go and bleed.
Well, sometimes.
Yes, sometimes. I mean, you just won, and also a big congratulations. You just won a tag team title, right? Championship title, tag team titles, and
did I?
I think didn't you just had a picture up on the internet of you and a partner?
We didn't win tag team. No, we're not tag team champions. So I am tagging with a guy in Detroit for XICW, and we're doing a similar look. With both of the one strap singlet, and he's kind of like the rookie, and I'm the old timer that's coaching him along.
Yeah,
he wrestles under the name Mongo. Really good guy. It's a whole thing they're doing for the XICW promotion over in Warren, which is just outside of Detroit.
Oh, cool.
And then I am the Horse Slam.
Yes, I was going to say congratulations. That's a big Horror Slam, man. That's like, The
Horse Slam is a promotion that I've helped build. I was there on their very first show.
Yeah.
I kind of came in, and they had the original gimmick was kind of like, okay, he's kind of, the first show was like a mix of horror movies and wrestling, and I really liked that it was something different.
Different, yeah, because it catches people's eye. You need something different, And
the first show, it was me, and I can't remember who I tagged with, but it was a tag match, me and somebody else versus Madman Pondo and Freddy Krueger. And this guy had a Freddy Krueger mask, and it was like legit.
Yeah.
$400 Freddy Krueger mask.
Oh,
it looked really cool. And then that show got over well, and then we did another show, and then started to work the hardcore into it. And then I was like, well, because I had already started doing the deathmatch stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, what if we bring out some light tubes? I don't know if we could do that. I don't know. Just we'll bring out a few.
Just watch this.
They haven't seen that shit here in a while. Let's do something different.
You have to. You caught their eye, you know?
It's really taken off. And I think Horror Slam is starting to go on the map is a credible deathmatch promotion. You know, they're starting to bring in a lot of the guys from like GCW and other top deathmatch guys, and it's completely something different than anything else that is going on over in the Detroit area. Detroit is very oversaturated with independent wrestling promotions.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. Like, I noticed that. I read, like, the internet, and I catch a lot of the stuff, and, like, oh my God, you know, it's like where I live, you know, Jersey Shore, there's a lot of wrestling, too, you know? Like, New Jersey, we're swamped by New Jersey and Pennsylvania and New York, you know?
Well, the where you have more wrestlers is where you'll have more promotions, because there'll be one promotion, and then a guy will have a disagreement with another guy, and then he goes, well, I'm going to start my own show.
Yeah.
So then he starts his own show, and then a guy in that show has a disagreement with him. Well, I'm going to start my own show. And then all of a sudden you're going to have a fan that's like, well, I'm going to start my own show, and the security guard's going to start a show, and a referee's going to start a show.
Yeah.
So then you've got, 15 fucking promotions all within the same area because everybody wanted to be the fucking boss. And you get an oversaturated area. So I only work for a couple places in Detroit. I try not to work for more than that because all the cards I see is the same guys every show, the same thing, just different matches and a different promoter. So with Horse Slam, I just work for Horse Slam and XICW in Detroit. Yeah, and they're both doing something so different from each other, and that's why I love it and enjoy working for them.
Because there's good,
completely different things.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, there's so many things Pondo's in there. I'm seeing pictures right here. Now I'm looking at the video, the picture right here, the flyer. That you're going to be. What is it? A couple weeks? Yes, it is, right?
They got a show in 2 days. The July 5th. They have a split show. It's going to be a half female show, half with a regular Horse Slam roster.
Man, that's going to be cool. I wish I was there. Damn it!
Fucking drive up.
Fly, all right. Hold on. Let me get a flight. Hold on. But yeah, there's so much out there, Now it's like like it's booming. Death matches is coming back again. Like we had,
which is really cool because there was a long period of time where it was kind of down.
It was.
There wasn't a lot going on with it, and so it's kind of gone in waves,
Yeah, from Mid-South to, it's like, I think slowly fading away from that. I don't know why, but, Well,
one of the big differences between, like, deathmatch wrestling now and deathmatch wrestling in the past, that I personally see, this is just my opinion, I started training in the end of 2000s. It was, like, August of 2000. And at that time, there wasn't as much of a social media presence or internet presence. Really, the only death matches, excuse me, when I was in high school, when I was a fan, I discovered deathmatch through tape trading. We traded VHS tapes.
Yes.
They had a fucking RF video, released the shit, somebody buy it, you have shows, there was no WWE network.
No.
There was no YouTube. And a lot of guys now bitch about this shit. And they're like, I'm not paying $9.99 a month for this shit, or somebody... They have no fucking clue how easy they have it. For $10 a month, and you have access to this entire library of wrestling. If I would have had that when I was in high school,
we would have been set.
Just a diehard fan. My God,
we would have been set. But then we had it. Yeah, but then we paid for.
I can't believe there's anybody who does not have WWE Network right now. I can't. I can't believe it because when I was a fan, I'm still a fan. But when I was, before I got into business, if I was had that opportunity, I would have been all over it. I spent hundreds of dollars a month sending out fucking VHS tapes.
You're right.
So I could get ECW shows and shows that there was no other way to get.
No, you would have to record them or something, That's like TNA when that was, when TNA started out. Like I was like, I want to just tape this because this got it good when it was like the 2000, like when it was early on,
But now there's any match in the history of pro wrestling is right at your fingertips. You YouTube it. You can download it. There's somewhere you can find it online. I didn't have that when I was coming up.
Yeah.
So I discovered deathmatch wrestling through tape trading. I had some tapes, sent them to a guy. I was like, oh, what the fuck is this? DJ PW Scorpion deathmatch? Or what the fuck is this? So I was like, I want to check that tape out. So I started ordering, trading some of these different deathmatch. And that's kind of how I was introduced to it. And that's what made me a fan of it. As I saw,
it's like the 3PW. Remember that federation when
yes. And then the XPW. XPW was real big at the time.
Yes, it was. That's why I said I also had enjoyed having on my podcast Homeless Jimmy. He's always welcome on my show. He's just a great character,
He's a great guy.
He is.
But when you watch if I'm comparing deathmatch wrestling today to deathmatch wrestling back then. And this is no offense to any of those guys. No. Watch a show like the XPW, and you've got your main event is Supreme versus Vic Grimes.
Yes.
And no offense to either one of those guys.
No,
I've never met them. I don't know them. Yeah. But they weren't putting on the caliber of match that the guys are putting on today in deathmatch wrestling. It was more two big guys hitting each other and bleeding. Yeah. And I think there was a lot of that going on early in the deathmatch wrestling. There was always exceptions.
Yeah, but
I think the stigma was you had bigger guys that bled.
Yeah.
And did crazy shit. Where now you've got guys that are great workers that can tell a great story. Yes. They are doing innovative maneuvers and moves in these matches. It's not just about, bleeding or throwing a guy through some gimmick. There's a lot more to it now, and I think that's really changed the fans' perspective of deathmatch wrestling.
You're right.
It used to be taboo. When I first started training, I'd always been kind of like deathmatch fan from watching those tapes.
Yes.
I started training, and I was like, it was always something kind of in the back of my head I wanted to do, but real taboo. Like my trainer, and when I came up, it was like, no, you stay away from that shit. You stay away from. You're going to get labeled that, and once you get labeled that, you're never going to get out of it.
Yeah.
So I was like, I stayed away from it, and I never did it. I didn't become a pro wrestler to do deathmatch wrestling. That's not why I got into the business. I was always a fan of it and kind of interested in trying it.
Yeah.
But it was very taboo back then to want to get into that part of wrestling.
Because I'm sure you watched a lot of the BJW videos and, growing up. Insane. Like, Jun Kasai. Look at that guy, It's like, wow. He still still could go, and he has a kid now,
Wow.
It's like, wow. What times change, Times change in the wrestling world, You have the good ones that really stick out in our minds, And now you look. And now you look at these future. The younger ones starting at like Colt 45, really good. Put his name out there. Like you really he got his name out there for a while, and other guys. And it's just insane. Now it's like the Jimmy Lloyds. And well, not no more Joey Janela, but he's still famous no matter what.
Yeah.
Big shout out to him. Happy birthday. I'll see you tomorrow.
The guys doing the death matches nowadays, there's definitely they've taken a reputation and they've done something different with it. And there's
it's
with GCW and some of these other promotions, they're doing the quality of the matches with these death matches. I think is on a different level than it was in the late '90s, early 2000s, even mid 2000s.
Yeah, and also in ICW is doing pretty good in Wisconsin, yeah, they're doing good too. Just other promotions, just so many out there that people don't realize. Even Casanova Valentine, big shout out to him. He does these no-ring death matches, in Brooklyn, and all over Florida and this and that and everywhere, It's like, wow, check that out, people.
And of course, with the internet, there's a lot more exposure to it, and you're able to attract a lot more different fans. Where back when I was coming up as a fan, the only way you'd find out about death matches was or getting the VHS tapes.
Yeah, yep, and then attending a show and being like, "Wow, okay, this is it. Let me see what it's about." Let me see what the big news. That's how I got involved. CZW and all the tape trading, and like you said,
sure.
That's how I got into deathmatch wrestling, BJW. Just like just love the sport, and it's art. It's art, you know. It's our entertainment, you know, and we like it.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the wrestling too. You can't leave the wrestling out because that's what makes wrestling also, you know.
I see. I get a lot of guys that ask me because, like I said, I started training at the end of 2000, so I'm going on like this is my 19th year since I started training, and I didn't start doing death matches until probably 2016. Mm-hmm. I always done some hardcore matches and stuff. But
yes.
I didn't do an actual death match until like 2016. It's like, why did all of a sudden you decide to do it? Because like I said, I was a fan of it initially, but it was something I always kind of stayed away from. I didn't want to get labeled as the deathmatch guy because at the time, you know, taboo, whatever.
Yeah.
And I did when I did this old timer character. I started in 2006.
Yeah.
Or 2005. It was mostly comedy. I was kind of a shtick gimmick. You know, put a bear hug on somebody, he taps out, whatever. And I like making people laugh. That's one of my favorite things to do is doing a comedy character and making people laugh. But with any comedy character, I think it runs its course. I think you hit a point when you can't keep telling the same joke over and over again.
So you have to switch it up. Yeah.
I got kind of tired of doing just me personally. I just kind of got tired of it. So I wanted to
branch out.
You know, I wanted to get into a little something different. I had already done cruiserweight stuff back when I first started. So I was like, well, what could be the complete opposite of being a comedy wrestler? And plus, at the time, I didn't know how many more years I was going to be doing this.
Yeah.
With my, my kids and my other life, I was like, maybe I only got a few years left in wrestling. So if I'm ever going to do, deathmatch was kind of on my bucket list. If I'm ever going to do one, I think I got to jump on and do it now and kind of change my character up a bit. So that is why I initially did it. And then when I did it, the first one was for Ian at Prince of the Deathmatch, 2016. And then he had me back for, he was happy with my performance there, so he had me back for King.
Yes.
I just fell in love with the fans. Like, I never had such loyal fans, fan reaction, people reaching out to me than the deathmatch wrestling fans.
No, like that night was like, that day was so amazing. Like when I got to see you with all my friends traveling from the East Coast, Kevin Hogan, rest in peace. We miss you, Kevin. Big shout out to Kevin Hogan, the Whack Packer. He made the trip worthwhile. He got to see you. And,
it was a whole different experience.
It was.
With the fans.
It was. And you know what, Jeff? I remember I passed out. Remember that? Did you hear about
I don't.
Oh, man.
No?
That heat was... I was passing out the whole friggin' show.
Fucking heat, sitting there, try getting in the ring and fucking performing in that heat.
But my friends were checking, they gave me water, everybody gave me water, so you all right? You want to go to the hospital? My friend's like, you want to go? No, I stick through, because I wanted to see John Wayne, win that tournament, and I'm like, hey, more power to me, you know what I mean? I'm not giving up. I don't want to go sit in a hospital I don't know,
And I think I really realized the power of that scene was like, after I did the King of the Deathmatch tournament, within the next couple of days, on my my Facebook page, I got like over 120 new friend requests of all these fans. It just out of nowhere, all in one big bunch. I was like, there's a huge following to this.
Yes, and you're like, yay, this is what I want. This is exactly, because it's your, it was your calling, and it was just a busy weekend for you. It was crazy, It was just like one of those things that you got to see people that you've never seen before, Also, Yeah, looking back at the promos and... promos. You said something about promos to me just before you were talking about promos.
99% of these guys fucking suck at doing promos.
Yeah.
And I can't even believe they're posting them on their social media pages and not watching them over and saying, I don't know how they can watch these promos and say, wow, that was good, I'm going to post this. Every single day I scroll through my feed and I watch shitty wrestler promos.
Yeah.
They don't put any effort into it.
A no-name wrestler.
They're just, they don't even pay attention to your fucking background. What's behind you? I watched one the other day where a guy had there was a window behind him and you could see the reflection of what was on the other side of the camera. It was like little kids walking around, just somebody nonchalantly standing there.
Yeah.
And I couldn't even focus on this promo because all I'm focusing on is the reflection I see in this window of who's behind the camera. So and I see that all the time. These guys posting these just terrible shit promos. Some guys posting, another one I saw earlier today was 5 minutes and 34 seconds.
Oh, jeez.
Who's got 5 minutes and 34 seconds to fucking sit there and watch some fucking jabroni cut a promo?
Yeah, you're right. It's like that kid, you know what I'm talking about, Superhuman. Like, really? Come on. How many times are we going to see this? The same stuff.
But at least his are quick.
Yes, and funny, though. I mean, he gets...
They're quick.
Yeah.
It's like a minute, not even a minute.
Yeah.
Quick.
What did you think of that
kid? When you're posting on here, they got to be quick.
Let me ask you this. What did you think of him when he first started that? I was like, this is funny
Well, I don't know when he first started. I don't know who the... I don't remember when I first saw it. At least he sells.
He does.
He sells.
Yeah.
So it's like, he's not a wrestler and he's selling the shit. Like, that just fucking killed him. When I know it probably didn't just fucking kill him, but he's selling it. I'm like, okay, then it makes all the wrestlers look like, okay, this guy jumped into all this shit and it looked like it fucking killed him.
You know what?
He's
Crack.
selling it.
No, what? I have a Facebook Live of him with what he did is roasting. Aiden called him out. You got to see his face. I'll send you the picture. It was funny as hell. It was funny as hell. So I had him roasting him. You know, challenging him.
But he's just somebody who's a fucking fan or juggler or whatever doing his videos. But I'm talking the actual guys in the business that are wrestlers that are cutting promos. They need to start putting more effort into their promos. Where are you staying? What's your background? What are you wearing? There's so many promos of the guy sitting in the front seat of his fucking car. I'm so sick of those promos.
Those
sitting
are
in the fucking front seat of his car with his fucking seatbelt on like a little bitch. Like, do something original. Mm-hmm. Like, where are the promos that have find some kind of a cool backdrop or something, and don't cut a 5 minute fucking. Nobody wants to sit there for 5 minutes and watch you talk. A minute, not even 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know.
Just get it out there. Put your point over. Get it out there. And so many are generic. It's all the same thing. I get so irritated about promos. I think guys really need to step up their game with promos. Mm-hmm. I think they need to be more aware of what the backdrop is, what their setting is, what they're wearing.
Yeah, sometimes they do them in the woods. They do them in the woods. It's like, come on, really? Like, you're in the dark. I can't see you, you know? Or you see them out, like, behind a brick wall, you know?
I just can't believe that they're not rewatching these promos and realizing that they fucking suck before they post them, you know?
Yeah. I mean, you look at all of them. I mean, and pretty much these, like, the shitty wrestlers that are not even famous, you know?
I've only ever posted, I think, 3 promos online. I only do it if I have a genius idea in my head. If I have something that I think is that is brilliant. Oh, yeah. I'm not just going to put up some shit.
No, you're going to go out to a good location and film it the right, you know?
If something snaps in my head and I'm like, oh, God, I got an amazing idea. I've got to film this and put it up. Mm-hmm. But you put them up all the time, and they're meaningless. No. There's nothing to them.
No. Like you can, like Joey Janela. All right, how many times we see him, but, you know, there's a story behind it, though, you know? But
he can cut a promo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Flack is a really good promo.
He's a fucking funny one.
Watch his shit. Yes, it's quick.
It is.
It looks badass. Mm-hmm. Watch him and see what he does. He gets it.
Yeah, and people love it. Shit, you know. And fans, it's a reaction, you know. Mm-hmm. I mean, tag teams, they can't even do it. Tag teams are hard, you know, because you can't even focus on the one person, you know. Sometimes, also, you know.
Guys just need to put more effort into their
or even females, too. Even females, you know?
Of course.
You know? I mean, when's the last time you saw a real good promo from, like whoever, you know?
I can't. Yeah, exactly. I can't name one.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, no, of course, like if you're going back to the old WWF promo days, like, Luna Vachon was good, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And Sherry Martel, you know, because they knew what they were doing, you know. Mm-hmm. And like Brother Love, remember? Like everybody,
yes.
You know. Now look at him, his own podcast, insane, right? Like, come on, it's like crazy.
You brought up Luna Vachon. I always get worried about that because I heard her do an interview before where she kind of had her raspy voice.
Yes.
And they said something about her voice, and she said that her voice became that way as a shoot because she did it in the ring, because she changed her voice.
Yeah.
so it developed pulps on her fucking throat or on her voice box or whatever.
Yeah.
So it permanently damaged her voice using her character voice. So I know when I do this old timer voice, I do it all the time. I've always been kind of worried: is this going to fuck up my voice someday? Or someday am I going to come out sounding like this?
You're gonna have the little voice box thing. Hi, how are you? Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Like the cancer.
That's why I don't do a full interview in character. That's why I'm not gonna sit here and talk for half an hour with that voice.
No. Who'd you like as promo wise growing up? You know, like in WWF. Let's talk about it. There you go. This is cool. We're talking promos now. Like there were so many good wrestlers that I could remember. Jake the Snake Roberts. You know, Piper.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Hogan had a good promo.
Yeah.
A lot of those guys had good promos.
Savage. Yeah. You know, just.
Yeah, most of those guys are pretty good at promos. I can't think of one that really, outside of WWF, Terry Funk was always my favorite of all time.
Terry Funk, Mick Foley, you know, Cactus Jack, what he did, really, you know.
I think those guys obviously had more freedom back then where now I've been told it's kind of all written for them and they don't really have the freedom to just go out there and talk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. Everything's all structured now, right? Like everything's all sign this, sign that. Yep, we'll put it on Twitter for you.
I was fucking terrible at promos until I started doing that voice, that Crusher voice.
Yeah.
If I'm outside of my character, I can't cut a promo.
Right.
In this voice, if I go in the ring, my promo would suck.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I have to do a promo in character. I got the opportunity one time. It's probably one of my greatest moments in wrestling to do a promo segment with Jake the Snake Roberts.
That must
and
be
it
fun.
was basically, we go to the show, it's kind of a funny story.
Yeah.
The show was terribly organized. We get to the show, they bring in Jake Roberts for the sole purpose of doing several interview segments on the show. The show's about to start and they don't even have a PA system, it's not even there yet.
Oh, jeez.
So there's no sound system, no PA system.
Yeah.
I think the show ends up starting like an hour late. I'm supposed to do one of the interview segments with Jake Roberts. So I'm nervous as shit, whatever. He's in a different locker room. Finally, like before we're going to do our thing, they walk me over to where he is. He takes one look at me. He wants nothing to do with me. You just tell when you look at somebody in their eyes, he's like, oh, the fuck is this kid? Kind of says a few things, and I can tell he's really cautious to do anything with me.
Right.
But they went out there. We both had a live mic, and I started cutting a promo. He started cutting a promo. We went back and forth for a good 5 minutes. Cutting promos back and forth. Nothing was worked out. Nothing was talked about in the back. Just straight shoot back and forth on the microphone. It was, and what was great about it is afterwards, I got to the back. And he pulls me in and gives me a big hug, and he goes, "That was great, man.
Yeah.
You know, I fucking loved it. That was great. You almost made me laugh out there." So that's probably my proudest moment.
Yeah, I
in wrestling is being able to just do promo with somebody who's
a legend,
probably one of the best promo guys in the business, and then he puts you over afterwards.
You know what? Jake has always been that kind of character, like the guy that's he's a ball buster too, man. I got lucky. Was it last summer? During the summer, I got tickets and I won local tickets from my local radio station to the comedy tour, the Dirty Tour. You know, Dirty Deeds tour.
Oh, okay.
And I brought my dad with me, and my God, he was funny as hell. It was just all about his life, and and stories about this guy, and Mr. Fuji, and just the way that he brought it, about the stories. Like he was telling a joke, like he was telling us when he would go on the airplane, he'd pull the pranks, and he would shit. He would take somebody's shoes, he'd go in the bathroom. And take a shit and put him under the seat. Oh. And Mr. Fuji, no, just great.
I think that doesn't happen anymore. Guys don't do that shit.
No.
There's no ribbing like that anymore.
Yeah.
And if there was, there would be a fucking outrage. If somebody shit in my shoes, I would kick the shit out of them.
Yeah.
Even if it was somebody I couldn't kick the shit out of, I would kick the shit out of them. I'd find a way to do it.
Yeah. But he was always a prankster, and I asked about hey, what's the gimmick with the snake? It's just brought out to the ring. The snake is just a prop. And I didn't know that. And then, but they also bring in new pranks. He'd take him to the hotel, right? And he'd actually put him in the sink to
I've heard that.
Yeah, huh? Oh, you did? Yeah. Yeah, where you have to bathe and then he puts a snake in the bed with the wrestlers. It's great, Surprise,
Yeah, he was a really great guy. Being able to work with him, just not even in the wrestling aspect, but just on the microphone, back and forth.
Yeah,
it was really a good experience for me, and I was very proud of that.
I know. It's cool to see because he always comes around. He just likes to tell story. Well, its tour thing is pretty popular now, so that's cool. Let him keep on doing this tour and
I'm assuming he's still cleaned up, as far as I know. He's on the right track still.
Yeah, because he talks, still talks about DDP and how he got into it, and with the yoga and a lot of the other guys. He's trying to stay clear, which is good.
That brings me to the other thing I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
Is
now it's like
drugs and wrestling.
Drugs, wrestling, and vapes. How's that?
All these.
What is this shit? CBE.
There's rarely drugs in wrestling. I rarely see drugs in wrestling now. I see every show I go to, guys are drinking Bang energy drinks.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a Bang energy drink. Every fucking guy in the locker room is a Bang energy drink.
Monster drink. Monster this. Red Bull.
There were years ago when everybody's passing around Vicodins, drinking. That's really. I feel sometimes I drink a lot. I drink. If I go to shows, I'll drink. So I'm drinking a beer or something. I feel bad. I'm the only fucking wrestler in the locker room drinking. I'm like, what, you guys don't want to relax after your match and have a drink? Oh, I've got my Bang energy drink, man.
Yeah.
Okay, that's kind of how things are now. I'm looking for fucking pills. I'm looking for. Maybe I hurt my back. Anybody got any Vicodins? They look at me like I'm foreign. They're like, what the fuck is that? And I'm like, oh, okay. I guess nobody does that anymore. But that's completely. Yeah. Maybe there's some places you still see it, but it's just not really a big thing anymore.
No. The marijuana that was a big thing for the wrestlers.
There's still a lot of that.
I know. It's going to always be.
There's still a lot of that.
It's going to always be a thing.
But the guys smoking weed and everything, you're like, hey, anybody got a pill? Nobody's got pills, and they look at you like, how dare you ask me for a Vicodin? Look, you're fucking smoking. What's the difference? They're both,
I never forget the time that I was at a wrestling show. Balls Mahoney actually asked me for a pill. Like, seriously, I was like, wow, Balls. But we became friends, you know what I mean? I was like, shit,
He refused to hit me with a chair before. That's another funny story I have. Is
really?
I was I was actually reffing the match.
Yeah.
Again, this is back when I first broke in. I was 16 years old when I broke in.
Yeah.
So I didn't start wrestling on a regular basis. I also was a referee because I was super small, 120 pounds. Mm-hmm. So a couple years in, whenever I was, wrestling or taking bookings as a referee, also I was in a match with Balls Mahoney against the local guy. Mm-hmm. Balls wanted to do the chair shot. The local guy didn't want to take the chair shot. So I'm kind of young and dumb here. I raised my hand and I was like, well, I can take the shot if you can work it in. And Balls looks at me and he goes, are you crazy? Look at your neck. I would fucking kill you.
Yeah, that's Balls. He would. So
he refused to hit me in the head with the chair.
Yeah. I'll never forget the time. I always tell this on my podcast how I met him the first time. Like, I was 18 years old at a dollar store working behind a stocking shelves in the local dollar store. This guy walks in. He's scruffy looking, and I'm doing my job, and somebody's like, he's a wrestler. I'm like, I don't know. I didn't know ECW was a thing, I'm like, then I got hooked on ECW. I'm like, holy shit, He's like, hey, man, come to the next show on me, I'm like, this is cool. That's
awesome.
I know. And then I followed him forever, local wrestling, of course, New Jersey, so he would be everywhere you can go in New Jersey, the local.
What year is this? What year did this happen?
Oh God, this was like, holy shit. I was 18 years old, so probably, I can't remember way back then. 18 years old, when I just, probably 2000, it was early on, mid, I don't know, I couldn't really, predict.
Yeah, just, back at that time.
Yeah.
Late 90s, early 2000s. Guys didn't know about ECW really, unless the only way I knew about it was the magazines.
That's what,
Wrestling Illustrated
magazine. And DVDs, or YouTube, and my friends would tell me.
I didn't even have YouTube. There wasn't even YouTube. There was no way. The only way I knew about ECW, and this is the later 90s was
Right.
through the magazines, and then they came to Grand Rapids here. I live in Grand Rapids, Michigan. They came here a couple of times down to the, one of the centers down here to run the shows. And
Right.
me and my friend, I remember, my friend was like, hey, there's some wrestling show coming to town, ECW. I was like, I don't know what the fuck that is. And we just went because we were big fans of pro wrestling. And that was the first time I had ever seen ECW live.
Yeah, because you probably, and also another great person, sad to be lost, Chris Candido, Like these guys are the pioneers of the business, like shit. And then you look at the tag team, right? Public Enemy. There you go, I never forget seeing them at a local indie show, before they did tables, they had like the tables, like a real tables match in a gym, I'm like, holy cow! I got to see the first tables, But the really cool thing was actually next door was also the Big and Tall store, so. My friend was in charge of it, and wrestlers actually would go in there. Public Enemy would go in there and get their clothing.
Wow.
Right? Because he said, how big they are,
Yeah, we don't have anybody, there's no local wrestler. There's nobody, really, there was nobody big over here. Obviously, you're in a more heavily populated area with wrestling.
Yeah, because Asbury, of course, Bam Bam, think about that way back then. Devon. Or the Bubba, the guy who was a bouncer, Devon, or Bubba, excuse me, Bubba Ray, was a bouncer at the local headliner club. That's so popular, I'm like, wow, okay, I wish I knew about that, but I never went there, But I used to go to a lot of those shows at that Asbury. I wish that convention center is still popular till this day. It's amazing, that one where they made the wrestler movie, with Mickey. With Mickey.
Well, they still probably run there then. Different shows, right?
What's that? Yeah, they
different shows probably still run there.
Absolutely, because it's historic, It's a historic wrestling landmark. People don't realize, It's kind of weird, And then one of my coworkers was telling me, and I looked it up online. I never realized WWF actually ran at my middle school.
Wow.
Yeah. And there's just so much wrestling now. It's popular. You know what I mean? It's like you don't know where it is and where it's going to go. And
yeah, like I said, when I was younger, I would have loved to go to all these indie shows and have the access to all this shit that people have access to now with YouTube, or just clicking buttons online and being able to see all these different matches.
MySpace or something. Come on,
I didn't even have MySpace. This is before MySpace. I didn't have. There was no way to see wrestling other than trading VHS tapes
or trying to get that or trying to get that beeper text with it.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
there's so much more of it. I wish. And I wish I would have broke into the business now and not when I did, because there's so many more opportunities for the wrestlers now with all these different promotions where you can make money and you can travel with, and kind of and every old timer I'm sure says this, when I broke in, all the guys were like, well, you got it so easy back when I broke in, shit was tough. And now I'm saying that to the guys breaking in now, I'm like, you guys have it so fucking easy. So it's a pattern, but it was really hard for me to get into promotions. It was hard to get booked places. There was a lot fewer places. There was a lot of guys hanging on to their spots. There was a lot more kind of cliques of guys that were controlling, who got to work here and who got to work. Now, as long as you go through a decent training school, and there's so many shows now. You're going to get booked. I
mean, it's look like what Ricky Shane Page. Remember, he was in Japan. That's awesome. Sometimes he goes to Japan, and that's awesome.
I wish some of these. If I would have broken, a few years ago, there would just be so many more opportunities for me. I'm older now, and I got a family and everything. So, but.
Yeah, well, I'm getting older too. Come on, 42? Come on. I can retire pretty soon. Wait, no, not just yet, but I can.
I am fortunate enough to still be walking around pretty good.
Hey, you can still run. You can still.
Yeah, I can
still move.
I get blown up. I get real blown up, but I can still go out there and work.
Yeah, but you teach because your sons are in wrestling.
Amateur wrestling.
Amateurs, I know. They're doing good with that, right? They still keep active with that. That's going to be that's a summer break, but I'm sure they're keeping active with it. I'm sure.
Yeah, I've so far I've had all of my boys go into wrestling at school, and I wish I would have done it. I never did wrestling in school.
Yeah.
I highly recommend it to anybody that has a kid,
get them involved,
girl, whatever. Get them into wrestling. It's a great sport. It teaches you a lot about. It's not teams; it's individual. So it's one-on-one. It teaches you a lot about when you lose, how to handle a loss. When you win, how to handle a win. There's so much it teaches you. It's such a great sport, and I help coach them now. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, I love it. I love it a lot.
It's like I'm proud of my nephew. He does. All my nephews are pretty good. They do the MMA stuff. My one nephew does MMA dojo, taekwondo, and my younger ones go to karate too, and they just love it. And they're all active. Like everybody's active. Like these kids play soccer, baseball. I'm sure the whole routine.
Yeah.
Keep active. And my niece, she's really into cooking, so that's a plus, and acting. They do acting schools. They go to acting, which is good. My nephew just got a big role he got the head role in Beauty and the Beast as the Beast. So I cannot wait to see that when it comes out this summer. I'll go, or when the play goes on, So that'll be kind of cool. And plus, check this out. My nephew is in a band. He's got a band. A couple of his good friends, like 3 kids, they go and perform at a local, local buildings in Pennsylvania or in Philadelphia area, and so it's kind of cool. So he has like a.
At one time, bands were like PodCast. Everybody was in one.
Yeah, but you know what? He plays piano, so he's real, pretty good. I got to just see him. I surprised him. I seen him at a recital just recently, this past week. It was great, Him and my niece were played keyboard, piano. So it was really nice. It's different, but he's into you could see, because what it was? I remember we went for my birthday to a local, you go, the local, like a seafood restaurant, and this guy, the piano guy playing there, keyboard, So he caught his eye, and the guy showed him how to play the keyboard that day, And I think that stuck with him in his head, that he had to remember that, he can play,
Yeah, I've never had any musical talent. I've never played an instrument.
Not me. I mean, I could play a guitar, I could play Nirvana, and that's about it, or Iron Man,
Yeah, I couldn't do anything. I don't even, as far as listening to music, I've never been like a big music guy. Like I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times when I'm traveling by myself, I don't even have the radio on. I just kind of just go and window down or something. I
listen to the sounds. Yep, just listen to the sounds. Yeah, nowadays it's all digital. Like we said, everything's all podcast digital. This is that. News is digital.
Everybody's got a podcast. All these different podcasts. And that's another reason why I never did these things. It's like all these guys are these random podcasts. I'm like, who could be listening to these things? If everybody's got one. I mean, you've got obviously your big guys like Austin and Jericho or Colt Cabana, and then you've got like a million other guys that get in these wrestling podcasts. I'm like, how many can there be? And how can anybody have time to listen to all this?
But you know what? And it's like, but how I got started, I was like, you know what? I could do a podcast, and I like deathmatch wrestling. I like independent wrestling. I like professional wrestling. Like I could do it all together. I was like, I could do this. How hard is it? Just answer.
Are you the only deathmatch podcast out there?
I believe I really am.
12.
Huh? There's.
Is there another 12 other podcasts, or are you the only one doing the deathmatch podcast?
I believe I'm really the only one. If you look, I've looked on the internet and I can't see anything. I've checked on YouTube, iTunes, nothing. I can't see anything.
So then you found your market then.
Yeah.
There's so many of these different shows. I don't listen to a lot of podcasts. I don't have time.
And it's horrible. Like, if you watch these guys, I mean, they have the technology now. It's Twitch network, Like, Twitch is, I got to learn that. That's my next step. I'm still working on that. To get like, the camera, I have my own video screen and just, but some of those are like, really? Okay. These guys are just marks for wrestling. They don't talk about wrestling, They talk about they put down the wrestling, the wrestling, WWE, WWE. Who cares? There's other things besides, WWE out there. in wrestling.
I don't put down any wrestling. I don't put my opinions about any wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
I love watching all kinds of wrestling. I did WWE, comedy, independent, hardcore stuff. I will watch anything, and if it's good, I will be entertained by it. I don't put down any of the product. I'm a fan of the whole thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Like me, it's like you just watch it and enjoy it. It's what we have for, you know.
But I know you get a lot of fans that are like, oh, you know, fuck WWE. And,
fuck CZW.
Put it to the man, and then they're all about AEW, and then you got guys that are like, all of a sudden, AEW does one little thing that they don't like. It's like, fuck AEW, or fuck Ring of Honor.
What are you thinking of that right now? Like, what are you thinking of that?
I don't know much about it. I mean, I don't.
You're starting to hear.
I'm a huge fan of wrestling. I don't follow it like I should. I'm so busy.
I know.
I get so much going on. I don't have time to watch a lot of wrestling during the week, so I don't follow it as much as I should.
But you hear.
I did hear an interview on the radio with the owner of AEW. He sounds very smart.
Yeah.
Very intelligent. He came off to me like a guy that was a good businessman. So we'll see what happens. That's more jobs for people.
I mean, they're selling out pretty good too. Chicago just got sold out again, you know. So hey,
I don't want any of these places to fail because that's more jobs for my friends.
A lot of more
places for them to go. Well, why would you want anybody to fail?
No, it's like I'm going to see Marco Stunt and his brother, or and tomorrow too. I'm like, this is cool. Joey Janela and a whole bunch, and be like, wow, okay. But they got their timing, They have their little until they have to, have to say, they have to stop their indie dates, and for the contract.
Well, I guess what I hear is from the different rumblings is once they get on TV, they're going to have to cut back on what they do. Everything's going to have to be toned down for television, and that would be unfortunate. But still, it's another place to work. I want them to succeed.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, come on, we've seen a lot of these talents, so we know who they are, and it's gonna be interesting, and plus more wrestlers to get noticed, independent.
Exactly. There's so many places now that you can go.
I mean, my God, John Moxley? Yeah, okay, he came back. We're glad. We're glad to see him on the scene again. It's like, wow. It's from switching from WWE to an Attitude Era of this John Moxley that we know. And people don't realize. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, the more places you got, the more jobs for guys you got, the better it is for the business, and the better it is for all the guys in the business. And I don't want anybody to fail.
Yeah, absolutely. But let me ask you this: what do you have coming up? Any good big shows coming up your way? What do you got?
I'm
pretty much busy.
Really focusing on Horse Slam and help building that. I've got you mentioned ICW earlier. I'm going to be making my debut for ICW at the end of July. I am doing a deathmatch tournament at the end of this year down in Memphis, Tennessee.
Oh, Memphis, baby. Thank you.
Other than that, I don't know. I don't
just play by it, right? Just go when you get.
I mean, like I said, I
just go by
I kind of hit the point in my career where there was many years where I traveled every single weekend. 2-3 times a weekend wrestling.
But now it's a little bit harder.
I can't do that anymore.
So I think
I'm a little bit more limited, I guess, on what I do. But I still
want to get out there.
I still love it. I still want to give it my all and do what I can,
Absolutely, because you've done it, like you said, 19 years,
Yeah.
Time to, if you have to, right, say goodbye. Sorry, but I do have a family and want to watch these kids grow up,
But I also have a whole new respect for the deathmatch guys that do this shit every single weekend, sometimes two or more times a week. I could never do that.
No. You get the call.
I can do these matches.
Yes.
But I will fully admit and tell you that I could never do that every single weekend. So those guys that are doing it every week, I have so much respect for them, how they can
do the 12
pick
hours.
themselves up the next day and do it. I could never do that.
No, do the 12 hours here, do the 12 hours there, and travel and just go state by state, and they got to do a show like a 2 show in one day. Like, it's amazing sometimes. It blows my mind. I don't know where to get the energy. Just no sleep.
and plus, I do those matches. I get so cut up all over my whole body. I don't wear a whole lot out to the ring.
Yeah,
and I'm pretty much cut from head to toe. And I get up the next morning like death. There's no way I could put myself back in the car and do it again the next day. So
no.
I give those guys a lot of credit.
Jeff, I want to say, man, this has really been awesome having you. Come back on anytime. You're what a welcome to shoot.
Anytime?
Anytime.
What are we going to talk about next time?
Well, you figure it out. You bring it out. You bring up a topic.
Next time I interview you.
You're going to interview me?
Yeah.
Okay. Fans, you heard that. I'm going to have Jeff King be the interviewer. Okay.
That's another thing I've always wanted to interview. So I've never interviewed somebody before.
Okay, so you could do a fan interview. How's that? Oh,
sure.
Okay.
Why not?
All right, fans, you could check out. Where could they find Jeff King? Just on
wherever.
Facebook.
I'm around.
Instagram.
I like being mysterious. I don't like. Yeah, I don't. You'll find me, and then when you find me, then you can watch me. Just
surprise.
Just keep an eye out.
Keep a surprise.
Sure.
Yeah, I want to make you do the poster. It'll be a mystery poster. Blanks people on the screen. What is this? Who are these people? Oh wait, this is my host. For one night only.
Yeah, check out Horror Slam Wrestling in Detroit. Check out XICW over in the Detroit area. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I got ICW in Wisconsin coming up. Mm-hmm. So yeah, check all those places out, and I'll be around.
And make sure they come and say hello to you, give you a big hug and hello, and support Jeff King. Buy some merch. That's it.
But I don't have any merch.
Oh well, that's it.
Never had any merch.
Okay, so he's an empty.
You probably don't have time for that today. Maybe in the next interview I can tell you why I don't have any merch.
All right. Fans will.
But yeah, so just buy a ticket to the show. That's plenty enough for me. Buy a ticket to the show.
Well, I'll tell you what. I have merch, and I'm going to hook you up with my merch. Fans, you don't hear that. That's business. Thank you. You're going to get a free job. I'll just send you some stuff out. I will send you a package.
All right, cool. Send it. I'll wear that shit.
All right.
All right, cool. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. I hope it went well. I hope the people listened.
And have a nice 4th of July with the family. What are you going to... Yeah, did we say fireworks? What? Yeah, what do you got?
I'm going to drink and take pills. That's my gimmick, but whatever.
Yeah, that's it. Be like Jackass, right? Stick it... No.
Cool. No, yeah, I'm going to hang out with the kids. I'm going to watch fireworks. Do the whole deal. The whole thing.
Yes.
I keep all that out. I just,
Yeah. It's going to be nice. It's 4th of July weekend. My parents, I think they're going to a local concert, local festival that they always do, like the oldies music or a new band comes in, And I'll go watch some backyard wrestling tomorrow.
Cool. I hope that show goes well. You have to tell me how it went.
And fireworks. So, I don't know. Schlack, watch out. I don't know about or Dale. I could see Dale's doing something with the fireworks. I could see something with Dale Patrick's. I don't know. Who knows? Surprise, surprise. Or Joey Janela.
Have fun.
All right. You have a good weekend, and we'll set this up again. And fans, you heard it. You heard it tonight that Jeff King is going to interview Deathmatch Russell.
All right, cool. Take care, man.
All right. Thank you for being on. Have a good night. Fans, that was one of my... Fans, I want to say thank you to my guest tonight. He goes by a gimmick called Old Timer Jeff King, but he is the Deathmatch Indie Pro Wrestler Jeff King. Man, you fans, you don't miss much action with comedy, deathmatch with wrestling and comedy, and just wrestling with comedy. He does it, and I want to thank him so much for being on tonight. And stay tuned, fans, because you'll never know who will be on my podcast. Thank you for listening, and have a great 4th of July weekend. And everybody go out with a bang. And good night.
Hey, wrestling fans, I want to mention Collar and Elbow. Collar and Elbow was founded on traditional values of professional wrestling. Two entities working together to create a product intended to connect with people on an emotional level. A symbiotic relationship where one cannot flourish without the other. We strive to create a product that embodies our passion for professional wrestling expressed through street fashion. Visit collarandelbowbrand.com and use the promo code DeathmatchRussellPodcast and save 10% off when you make a purchase. Collar and Elbow, where wrestling passion meets street fashion. You can find more Deathmatch Russell podcasts on the following social media. DeathmatchRussell.com. Follow on Twitter at DavidNJ32 and on Facebook. Facebook.com/DJDaveNJ32. Find me on Podcast City Network at podcastcity.net. Facebook.com/Podcast City Network. Hit the like button and share. And on Twitter at PodcastCityNet. You can hear Deathmatch Russell podcast on Stitcher Radio and on iTunes.